Hey, Harold Osmer with LA Car. You ever notice how your car just runs so much better when it's clean? And we polished up the Galaxie specifically to come out and show you what driving an old car is like. Old cars certainly have a lot of character, and they're great to have. They're fun to drive, but you really have to be careful with them. A given modern car, any given modern car is going to start better, stop better, probably has a heater that actually works, all those kind of things. It's all fun. Old cars are great because of the character, because of the hands-on work you can do with them, but you do have to be aware if you're going to go drive these things out on the road. And that's a little bit what I want to talk to you about today with this. This is a 1966 Galaxie. We do have a modern drivetrain and engine in here. It's a 351 Windsor and a 4-speed automatic overdrive transmission. That enables it to get around a whole lot better. You get yourself a fully restored, accurate, the whole bit 1966 Galaxie, you could be in for a little bit of drama because it has drum brakes. It has the old drivetrain. It was designed to be on the road with a whole bunch of other 1966 and even older cars. So just be aware of that. If you want to get yourself an old car as a hobby, oh, it's a great idea. Just figure out how you're going to use it.
Most guys, they get into these cars, into the classics, and they'll drive them for 5-6 years and battle all the inconsistencies and try to patch, have people throwing rubber bushings and, you know, maybe here and there, but not all of it.
Yeah.
And then they go to drive it and they're still fighting it. And now it's been like 5-6 years and they're tired of that. Then all of a sudden, then they bite the bullet and they have it all done. And I switch over to polyurethane bushings front and rear and everywhere I can find on the suspension. And the car rides like silk, it handles nice, they don't have any problems. They go, why in the hell didn't I do this a long time ago?
One of the things that comes up, people look at its Galaxie and they say, wow, that thing must weigh just a ton of the big old boat. Well, you know, it's physically about 11 inches longer than a Toyota Camry, and it's about 6 inches wider, and they weigh the same, roughly 3,500 pounds for both a Galaxie and a modern Toyota Camry. Something else to think about, even with this modern 351 Windsor, I'd put out about 275 horsepower with the V8. Toyota Camry with the V6 puts out 301 horsepower. I know, strangle me and beat me with a socket wrench, but that's just the way it is. Something you'll notice, you ever get in an older car, one of your buddies, whatnot, maybe it's your own, side view mirrors are really small in the old cars. You don't get near as much vision. The other ones only have about, you know, 3 or 4 more square inches of actual mirror space on them, and that's fun, but man, it sure helps you to see out of these things.
So the first thing I would check, first thing would be brakes. Always check brakes. A majority of all older cars will have drum brakes in the back. Got to take those out, make sure the springs are all intact, brake dust is out, check the front brake pads, check the brake fluid. First things first. Then you work your way toward the fluids, and you will check all of those. And then tires. Tires are important. Make sure the tires are 2-3 years old, inflated properly, and then go have fun with your old car.
Yeah. So many of our modern cars look an awful lot alike, and it's hard to tell one from another from a distance. But there's no doubt when you see a Camaro versus a Mustang, or an Impala versus a Galaxie, or a Dodge versus a Chevy, anything from the 60s, 50s, very distinctive. And that's a big reason to get yourself one of these cars. They really appeal to the eye. Something we really like about the Galaxie, you don't see many of them. And part of the reason is Galaxies really ruled the roost in the early 1960s. And then the Mustangs and the Fairlanes and all those smaller mid-size cars came out. And the Galaxie, as a name, was relegated to, family duty. So in the same way that it's difficult to imagine somebody restoring a 2005 Toyota Camry just like Dad used to have, no, people aren't going to do that. Okay, so here's another tip for you guys that want to drive around in an old car. People are going to notice it, okay? You kind of want them to notice it. And it's up to you to give them the wave. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, thank you very much. 66, yeah. Something else we've noticed about the Galaxie, and it's happened so often it's become a running joke in the family. The guy will pull up alongside, a lot of times you'll see a guy will give a wave, hey, thumbs up, and that's all good. The people who engage with me and actually talk and call out, hey, Galaxie, yeah, that kind of thing, black guy. And I don't know why. Although somebody pointed out that if I was driving an Impala, it would probably be the Mexican dudes who would always go, hey man, all right, nice, Impala, I don't know why black guys love this car. I actually bought it from a black guy. And, I'm not right or wrong, it's just what it is. So, but yeah, get used to the wave, and thank you for noticing the car. Put a little effort into it, and I appreciate you noticing. That's a true story. Another thing to think about is when you're putting in an engine. Like I have a 351 Windsor, which is effectively a truck engine. The torque, maximum torque, comes on at this at about 32 to 3,500 RPM. Right? Now that's, you think, well, okay, sure. Well, you got to think about this. You get guys that say, well, I got 400 horsepower. Yeah. At what? 6,000 RPM? Dude, if you're driving your car around on the streets at 6,000 RPM, we're going to see you on the news before long, wrapped around a tree. That's just not smart. The interiors of old cars are just as distinctive from one model to the next as anything else, the exterior. Now, but you're able to do a lot of different things here. In our case, we replaced the seats, and we were able to build this console to go across the middle. We put in our stereo, and of course, modern phones, they're way too modern for the things that we have. We could always change the stereo, I suppose, or we just hook up a connector and get an adapter. See, the other adapter was high-tech back in the day. Now we got to get adapters to hook up to the phones, and it still works. Hey, no problem. We can fold a map. While this is a great car, I love driving it around and doing things with it, experiencing things, doing stuff with the girls. This is a lousy car if you're going to use it as your commute car, going to and from work and all of that. That's just not a bright idea. For one, it's too nice, it's too valuable. It's not worth a whole lot of money, but it means too much to me to leave it out in the work parking lot day after day after day. I have a garage space where I'm able to keep it. I have a nice car cover that I could put on it. But if I was to take it to work every single day, well, it could drive back and forth and handle those chores. it would just be a sad thing to come out and find somebody had molested my car, you know? So yeah, it's not very practical for that sort of thing. That's why if you're going to get yourself an old car as a project, make sure you have a new car that you could actually drive. Same thing applies with a motorcycle. Those are nice, but one day it's going to rain and you're going to wish you had a car that didn't leak. All right. So in the end, the biggest thing to decide is what kind of car appeals to you. Are you more of a Ford guy, a Chevy guy, Dodge guy? Maybe you're a truck guy. Also need to think about, how will you use this car? You want to use it to drive up the coast with the wife, or do you want to just use it on Sunday parades or go to car shows? Well, either way, make sure it can stop before you make it go. These things can be dangerous, but they're fixable. And make sure you can fix the suspension and the steering parts first. That's the safest thing, man. You're going to be out there with a lot of modern cars that can start and stop a whole lot better than you. And in the end, more power is fun, but it's not required. So don't get too wrapped up in the big horsepower numbers and the engine guys. Next thing, make sure to get your wave on. What did you think was going to happen when you drove around in that cool car? You got it all shined up and pretty and nice looking? Folks are going to notice. That is part of the game. So go ahead and get out there. We do encourage you to do it. Be safe about it. There's a lot of things you can do depending on how much you're willing to do and what kind of time you have. The other thing to think about is if you're going to make this car real nice and then leave it covered up in your garage, why bother? Make something you can go drive. This is Harold Osmer with LA Car.